the relationship operating system we've learnt at work does not serve us as humans. I'm going to dismantle it now and show you one that does. All my life, I've been an activator. When I was 25, I started my own company, and by the time I was 28, I had 13 employees, turning over $1 million, and a great client list. I had written 2 books, and companies like Google and Microsoft sought my opinion. I had a great husband, and I was an elite cyclist. And people would have said I was fearless and that I had it all. Far from it. The world felt to me like a very threatening place. I was obsessed with being perfect and keeping everybody happy all the time. I didn't even come into the equation. I feared the future, making too little money, making too much money. But my biggest fear was that people would think that I was a failure and reject me. And to avoid feeling that feeling, I listened to the old reptile part of my brain that tells us the world is dangerous and that driving and striving and controlling will keep us safe. And it's like I booted up the mental operating system, Reptile 1.0, and I loaded up every app in the system. I loaded up perfection, I loaded up competition, I loaded up striving. So, it's 2008, I've just got back from riding my bike in China, racing, and I'm lying in my bed, 4 a.m., wide awake, jet lag. And all these thoughts are whirring through my mind. I have 1,700 emails in my inbox. Every client I've ever worked with has left me a voicemail. I'm overwhelmed and I should never have gone away. And then, oh, idea. I'm going to get up and work. Remember, it's 4 a.m. And I'm going to do that tomorrow and the next day. And jet lag is going to enable me to reset my body clock and give me 4 more hours every single day. And by this stage, relief is flooding through my body. 3 months later, I'm still doing it. This time it's 8 a.m. I've been in the office working for 4 hours, and employees start walking in. And they're doing things like taking their coats off and saying hello to each other and making cups of tea. And I'm burning with frustration, judging them for strolling in when we have so many things we need to do. And I knew it was unreasonable, but I felt it anyway. And despite those 4 extra hours a day, I was absent in relationships at work. I just couldn't see the point of chatting when there was so much to be done. And employee meetings in my diary, it's as if they were greyed out. And if a client asked me to, I would book over them without really thinking. In one memorable employee performance review, the person across the table from me said, "I'm so sorry, am I keeping you from your real work?" Fast forward 2 more years. By now, I am exhausted. My marriage has ended suddenly. My father, my fellow activator, is unwell. And I sit with him in the hospital room, reading aloud to him from one of his favorite books, stories about sailing adventures. And with the other hand, I'm sending panicky emails and texts to clients and colleagues. I just didn't want to let anyone down in what turned out to be his final week. And after it was all over, I really found myself unable to cope day to day. And to the outside world, I was still running Reptile 1.0 and driving and striving away. But the real me, the perky girl with all the drive, was in her car, unable to get out and go to work. I was too afraid to answer my own phone and ultimately unable to walk through my own front door. And I have real compassion for the part of me that booted up Reptile 1.0 because it wanted to serve me, and all it wanted to do was keep me safe. And a little voice inside my head at that time was saying, Carrie, this isn't going to end well. And it got louder. And listening to that voice was the first crack in the old operating system. Reptile 1.0 had frozen on the screen. And isn't it curious that at that time, the world presented me with many people who did not run the same operating system as me. I met with the UK chairman of a global company. He was the client. Halfway through the meeting, he turned the tables on me and said, "You look distressed. Let's take the afternoon off and go for a chat." And we did. And more people treated me with grace and gave me gifts I felt I hadn't earned and had no way of repaying the value. People I had considered kooky before in the old world, when they talked about abundance and ease and love in a work context, suddenly seemed to make more sense. And it was these kooky people who persuaded me to take a break eventually. So I took 2 months off and I went to Indonesia. I went running. And while I was there, just being unshackled from my phone and my Google Calendar gave me the space I needed to choose. And I decided that no matter what, I would not go back to that old way of life, even if it meant the business failed. And this time, the voice inside me said, what about building a new operating system? Remember, I'm an activator. So I pieced together what I'd learnt, and here's what I came up with. The only real is people. The only thing that can create value is a person. Relationships are the real work. Seeing the world as abundant, with enough time and resources and recognition to go around, prizes our grip off what's mine and frees us all to collaborate and create value. Seeing business as profit or purpose is gone. Seeing purpose as the source of future profit, that's a much bigger game. And I call this operating system Freedom 9.9. I was serious. And when I went back into the old environment, the rubber band wanted to snap me back into the old way. But I really didn't want to go there, and I really believed there was another way. So I booted up Freedom 9.9. I felt released, as if from prison. I could make mistakes, I could make money, I was free to choose. And my worst case scenario, that the world would consider me a loser, had just lost its sting. And all this is quite nice for me, but what did it do back in the business? We won more clients that year than in any other year, in an easy culture. And we grew 15% in a falling market. Now these guys run that company. And we could end here with a kind of yay for us, but the real idea is much bigger. The impact of me booting up Reptile 1.0 had on others is crucial, and the opportunity that Freedom 9.9 presents to the world. My beliefs about myself not good enough, must try harder, mustn't let anyone down, were projected onto my employees. My fear travelled, and it gave them a template for how to treat themselves and others. They took that home. We learn what we live. Reptile 1.0 would have business owners like me believe that when it comes down to it, it's money or meaning. And I propose that Freedom 9.9 gives us an and option, profit and purpose. And here's what I think. If we could transform the operating system at work from Reptile 1.0 to Freedom 9.9, we could create the biggest agent for social justice and change on the planet. We could enable adults to experience mastery at work, self-acceptance, compassion, self-responsibility, and take that operating system home. And the real idea is even bigger. This isn't Carrie's goody-goody way to run a company for people who can't cope in the real world. Reptile 1.0, it makes money today, but it crushes the source of future value. Freedom 9.9 incubates it. It creates purpose-led companies who can have the big conversations, say the unsaid, collaborate so powerfully and emotionally neutrally that they can create the unthinkably brilliant product that the customer loves. And that creates scale. And the operating system to run well at scale. It creates companies that can feed themselves and others for generations. If you want to do good in the world, this is the way to do it. Don't let Reptile 1.0 keep doing good small and the preserve of the not-for-profit. Now, to buy this, we need to buy that people can change. Neuroscience tells us we can reprogram the brain we inherited. I am testament to that. So now I have two jobs. Job one, shine a light on Reptile 1.0, which does not serve us. Job two, invest in and create a roadmap for companies who choose Freedom 9.9. Next week, 8 amazing companies enter the incubator. 50th generation, which is the home and a process for creating for companies who are committed to creating value and profit and purpose and money and meaning for generations. Why? Because work is where we spend our time. It's one of the places we learn about how the world works. It is the massive, untapped source of social change. Thank you.